background, they're located in Edmond, Oklahoma. That is a suburb of Oklahoma City, where the Oklahoma Thunder just beat the defending world champions in basketball. So go Oklahoma. So maybe Kevin Durant will get himself a championship. I'd love to see that. So anyway, they've been in business for over 50 years. They got a B+ rating through AM Best. They started operating, selling a lot of life policies in the Pacific Islands and territories. Pretty good company to do business with. They got a great TPA office in Salt Lake City, and we are really running a lot of business with them since we launched this product a little over a year ago. So let's go ahead and get started here, talk about a couple things about where this product's available, the competition and IAC, talk a little bit about a lot of the buzz in the industry right now. Why sell a Plan G versus a Plan F? I think a lot of you folks that are on the webinar are already probably taking a look at Plan G. As you well know, there's some changes coming 2 or 3 years from now in 2020. Plan F supposedly going away, as Plan C will be going away. That's a long time away. A lot of things could change, so that's where we stand at this point. So household discount, we'll talk about where that's available, how we submit business, and then something that a lot of you are already on track for is our IAC HFG Caribbean Convention. And guys, we've got a great trip planned. It's going to be a trip to where, of course, in the Caribbean, it's a tropical paradise, and as you well know, we're not going to meeting you to death on this convention. We want you to relax and enjoy it and have a good time. So we'll talk a little bit about that, what it takes to qualify for it, and then we'll give you a contact sheet at the end of the webinar. So if you need to reach us, you have full access to us. Mid-Supp states, as you can see, just about every state in the union covered except for the upper northeast quadrant and Florida and Georgia down south and Washington. We do have Michigan that come on board on the 29th of last month, so it's been out there just a shade over 2 weeks right now, and we know with the rates we have in Michigan, there's going to be a lot of business coming in Michigan. So we are doing very well with this product offering. It's a national product, and if you've been writing our product or if you're just getting started with us, by all means, we thank you and hope to see you in the convention in 2017. States that have a discount, as you can see, just about every state that we market outside of Idaho has either an orange or a blue circle in it. Orange is, of course, the states that I like the best because that's where only one person has to apply to get that discount. Illinois just went from orange to blue. The state came back in and said we had to go to a 2-person discount to meet their state requirements. Even though when we filed the product, they approved it at 1. A year later, they came back and said, you got to do 2. So we'll talk about why that's important when you and I are out there selling products, how it's a benefit to us in the sales field. Okay, what I want to do is I want to show you some comparisons and rates, and sometimes we'll be the least expensive, sometimes we won't, but I've always told agents, I've been doing this since 1984 when I started selling Medicare supplements, guys. Well, first off, Moby Dick was a minnow, but the Plan A Part A deductible was $356 back then, so as you know, it's a little higher than that today. So these are Plan G rates, and as you see, the reason I want to show you a Plan G is because of all the buzz going on about Plan G. There's a lot of companies out there reducing their rates on Plan G. We have done that on some of our states, but in the state of California, these are based on the lowest area factor, 67-year-old female. Our rates are the same at 65, 66, and 67. The reason we did that is we kind of wanted to take that. We could have shaved these rates a few more dollars less at age 65. We did not want to do that because you and I both know when people turn 65, a lot of people are waiting to get their Medicare supplement to have surgery because they have a high deductible on their current major medical, and they're going to let Medicare and their Medicare supplement pay for it. So we decided not to be the cheapest at age 65, and we did that as a strategy. So that's kind of how we looked at that T65 business. Not that we're bad in those rates. We were still pretty competitive, but we didn't want to be the least expensive at age 65. So in California, lowest area code, we're at $113.87. We filed that rate about a year ago, July the 20th, 2015, as most of these companies on here filed about the same time. We have a 7% discount. When you put that through there with only one person needing to apply, that drops us down to $105.90. Guys, that's a pretty good price for a quality healthcare plan. In Colorado, we are at $106.97. As you can see, Equitable, very, very good company. They're at $103.16. However, if you look at their effective date and our filing date, there's a little bit of difference, not a lot, but so both companies are continuing to do business there. However, Equitable does not offer the household discount. We do, and that is 7%. So when you factor that in, drops us down to $99.48, and that's a very, very competitive product in the state of Colorado. Not going to go through all the states, but I'm just going to give you some highlights here. Kentucky, our Plan G, we're at $97.30. State Mutual is at $96.31, but if you take a look at the effective date over on the far right-hand side, they filed theirs April of 2015, so they're already a year into that pricing. We just released ours in January of this year. We're only $1 higher than they are, and we also offer a 7% discount, which they do not, and that drops us down to $90.49. And by the way, that's very competitive. Our Plan F, as you can see down there, is at $121. So Todd, you put these rates together real quick. Is that Plan F the discounted premium or the original premium? The $121.26.
I believe that's the regular premium there, Bill.
I don't think that is the discounted premium. I think that is the regular premium. So, but even if you look at that, that's about $24 a month higher than our Plan G. And guys, the only difference between Plan G and Plan F is the Part B deductible. And if you take $24 times 12, you're going to come up about $280. The Part B deductible is $166. I would take that deal all day long as the Plan G being a better buy. So always get your calculator out and figure where you land when you're talking the Part B deductible versus the Plan F. So anyway, Kentucky $99.70, $90.49 with the discount. In North Carolina, we're coming in really strong with a 7% discount at $94.06. Throw that discount on there. You've got somebody getting a Plan G for $87.47. That is a very, very good benefit in North Carolina. If you take a look at the effective date, we just filed that rate on 3/1/16, so it's a good solid rate. It's going to be there for a while. We have a lot of business coming out of North Carolina. In Texas, a lot of people fighting for the business in Texas, including us. If you look at Continental, they released their product in September of 2015, so they're getting real close to their one-year offering. They offer a 5% discount. We have a 7%, and we're only about $1 higher than them starting out with. So with the discount, we're going to come in a little bit less than them, but both companies, including Manhattan, are all doing very well in the state of Texas, and that's a big state. Guys, there's plenty of business out there for everybody in Texas. But we are very, very competitive at $93.95 with the discount. We're at $87.38. Again, when you stop and think about a 100% plan in or out of the hospital with an exposure of $166 on the deductible, that's a very quality product. So why Plan G versus Plan F? Most of you guys already got this figured out. Not telling a lot of you anything that you don't know, but if you stop and figure how to present a Plan G over a Plan F, guys, I take this exact same little snapshot right here because it's very crisp, clear, and when I'm sitting down with a policyholder, if they've got a Plan F, I'll ask them what they like about their Plan F, and then I will ask them, have you ever considered a Plan G? So, and here's where I think you can be of a lot of value to your prospective policyholders. When you're sitting there and you're talking about a Plan F, and they were telling you what they like about it, and they start explaining it to you, 9 times out of 10 they've got one of these laying around. You can have them pull out one from their own company so that they can see that they're identical. But when you start going down here benefit for benefit, and the only difference when you write that in that Part B deductible is $166, and they've had their Plan F, and they've maybe they've had that Plan F for 5, 6 years. Well, you know it's absorbed at least 2, 3, maybe 4 rate increases. If in a attained age state, they've had a rate increase every year based on their age. So you don't have to go against their lowest premium Plan F. You got to go against the Plan F premium they got. Well, if your Plan F, you're showing them is only $5, $6, $7, maybe even $10 less than their original Plan F that they've got because you're having to go at their new age, they're probably not going to be that interested in changing. They've already done business with this Plan F, this company, so they've got a lot of history with the company. You can either fold your tent and walk away, or you can educate them and show them something like this right here and say, well, Mr. Jones, you know, in my situation, I'm 63 years old. My mother's been on Medicare for 20-some years. I tell them that my mother's got a Plan G, and here's why. And then you pull that Plan G premium. Maybe your Plan F, like I said, is only $10 a month, but you get that Plan G, and now you're $35 or $40 a month less. And you figure, just say, for this example, say it was $50. It won't be, but it could be. But 50 times 12, everybody knows that's $600. Well, would you trade $600 for $166? Absolutely. Put it on the legal pad. Show them the difference. Say, you know, if I give you $600 and all I ask in return was you give me $166 back, would you take that deal? And when they say yes, right there's what they're doing. They're getting the same benefit. Everything else is the same. So just use that to your advantage. And I like this little example right here for the simple reason it's very crisp and clean. Put it under a piece of plastic, carry it in your sales kit, and you can make a lot of hay with just that little example right there. So where does Plan G fit? In my opinion, it fits for people who are in pretty good health. As we all know, a Plan F is going to continue to go up. One of the things that I always try to point out when I'm talking about a Plan F and continuing to rise, I use my mother and my aunt as an example, and you guys got countless examples in your client base. But my mom is 83, my aunt turned 86 the 16th this month. I sold them both a Mutual of Omaha plan several years ago, and there was only a few dollars difference in a Plan G and a Plan F at that point, even though my aunt was 3 years older. As you well know, if you look at your rates, there's not a lot of difference between a 65 and a 68 or a 68 and a 71. It doesn't go up that much. So you and I both know Plan F, every time they raise the Part B deductible, it's going to have to go up because it has to pay that. What happens when the Part B deductible goes to $250? And don't think that's out of the line, because they were talking about doing the $250 here just this past year when they changed it to $166. If that would have went to a $250 Part B deductible and Plan F had to correspond in January of this year and pay that, how much scrambling do you think these insurance companies would have had to have done to offset that additional expense they were going to have to pay on every policyholder out there who had a Plan F? So use those, just educate the policyholder. Why Plan F continues to raise? Well, my mom just paid her Plan G premium. She's 83. It's $1,858. My aunt paid her Plan F premium, and it was $2,800, $1,000 higher for that Part B deductible. Who's got the best bang for their buck? My mother by far. Now, the reason my aunt won't change, first off, is she's got macular degeneration, she's legally blind, and she's really a nervous type individual. She don't like change, so I leave her alone, and she's happy. That makes me happy. So people not satisfied with a Plan N. There's a lot of people that bought a Plan N when Mutual rolled out the guarantee issue Plan N that's paying a lot of money for it. You take somebody that's in their 70s, late 70s, early 80s, and they got a Plan N. Maybe they're not as sharp as they used to be when they bought the Plan N. They get a little confused when all these, do I pay this deductible? Do I pay this copay? What's going on here? So people that are not satisfied with the Plan N, a Plan G is a very good fit. New to Medicare, people who are new to Medicare, people who have a high deductible, all people who would make a good fit for a Plan G, in my opinion. So I took these rates out of Texas, And this is a Plan G versus a Plan F. So I went to a 67-year-old with household discount added, and I have a person here with a $127.98 premium. Take that times 12, I come up with $1,535. Take IAC with the discount, take that times 12, I got $1,048. So there's about a $1,500 or about a $500 difference. Guys, I do this on my legal pad. I lay it out almost just exactly like what you're looking at here. My handwriting's not near as neat as the typing is, though, I will say that. And then I simply just subtract the difference, and I come up with $487.32. Now, to give a fair example, an apple-to-apple quote, I tell the policyholder, now, in fairness to your plan, Ms. Jones, you're going to have to pay that $166 deductible, but even after you pay that, I'm still saving you $321. So I just asked him, I said, now, Ms. Jones, let me just ask you this. If I was to take $487 out of my pocket and just give it to you, and all I said that I wanted back is for you to give me $166, how many times a day could I get you to do that? Well, that's a pretty simple example, but it's a very effective example, and people will do that. I mean, they'll start to see what you're talking about. Well, that's the only difference. I'd be crazy not to do it. And I'll say things like, well, you know, Ms. Jones, I think this is in your best interest, don't you? What are they going to say? No, I like spending extra money. Sure, it's just a little simple example, just some of the things that I've used over the years that has helped me sell a lot of policies. So even if you take that times 2, then you're looking at over $600 savings. So husband and wife can save quite a bit of money, get the same benefit, especially if you figure the 166 back into the formula. So just a couple things that I've done over the years that's done a lot of business for help me make a lot of money. Plan G versus Plan F, despite the fact that Plan G can potentially save Medicare beneficiaries hundreds of dollars per year, nearly 10 times more people have a Plan F than a Plan G. In 2014, Plan F was the most popular Medicare supplement with over 6 million enrollees. In contrast, only about 700,000 had a Plan G. So guys, gals, there's a lot of potential out there showing this Plan G. And then if you dig into the CMS guidelines, you can find information out there about where Plan G is going to go away, or not Plan G, Plan F is going to go away. They just had the National Medicare Supplement Conference here in Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't able, I went, but I didn't get to sit in on the one session on Plan F and Plan G, but Todd did. So Todd jumped back in here and kind of explained to them, because there's been a lot of misconception. Well, I had a policyholder call in here the other day and say, oh, God, I had somebody tell me my Plan F is going to go away in 2020 and I won't have any insurance at all. You're going to have to help me. So Todd kind of addressed that issue as...
Okay, here's the law, and I was confused on it before I went to this conference, and so this is, I'll try to make it as simple as possible. If people were on Medicare before, or at least on Part A, before January 1st, 2020, they can continue to buy the Plan F until they pass away. So if you're already on Medicare before 2020, you can continue to buy the F. However, if you're new to Medicare after January 1st, 2020, you can no longer buy the Plan F.
So does anybody see any chaos in that situation or any opportunity? Stop and think about this example here. Say that in October, you go out and you write a husband a Plan F, and his wife is going to be 65 in January of 2020. You can't sell her a Plan F, but you could her husband. How much confusion and opportunity is there going to be out there? People are just going to need more, and they're going to need agents more and more and more. So build up a good rapport with your policyholders, because they are going to be turning to us for explanations on this. But that example will come up to where you have one that can get a Plan F, another one that cannot. So I've always said in this business, knowledge is power. The more you and I know about it, the better off we are, and the more money that we can make for our families and more policyholders that we can help out in the process. So guys, I'm going to buzz through this application really quick. Don't need to bore you with every line on an application, but I just want to point out a couple of things on how the IAC application is laid out. Your first page of that app is personal information, plan selection, and their Part B eligibility. Are they on Medicare Part A? If yes, when? Take it right off their Medicare card. If they're not going to be on Medicare until June the 1st of this year, then you put no, June 6/1/2016. This Part 4 is your Medicare and insurance. Basically, all we ask here is the same thing everybody else asks on an application. What is their current situation? Are they on Medicaid? Number 3 addresses if you had coverage from any other Medicare plan other than original Medicare. They're talking about an HMO or PPO. You fill in their dates there. If number 4 is answered yes, 3 and 5 will be no. If number 5 is answered yes, 3 and 4 will be no. So it just addresses current insurance that they have. The only time they'd all be no is if they didn't have any insurance at all. Part 5 is the general information located on page 3 in most applications. There's a couple of states it might be different. However, this is a very important page that you guys need to familiarize yourself with, especially if you're utilizing our Online Express app or if you are doing our telephonic app, to where you can call in and get an instant answer, which we're going to talk about here shortly. You will be asked, did you read the general information located on page 3 of the application to the policyholder? The correct answer is always yes. And here's how I cover this page. If I'm sitting there with a prospect right now, I turn this around to where they can read it, and I'll say, Mr. Jones, first off, you do not need more than one Medicare supplement policy or certificate. Should you purchase this policy, you may want to evaluate your existing coverages and decide if you need multiple coverages. And Mr. Jones, you may be eligible for benefits under Medicaid if something should happen to your financial situation down the road. There's certain rights and privileges you have should you become eligible for Medicaid. I want you to call me and I'll go through that with you at that point. And that's all I cover right there. I turn them around and say, you may want to continue to read this. And trust me, if you're doing a telephonic app, you will be asked, did you go through the general information? They may ask the policyholder, did you have read to you the general information? And if they say, oh, not for sure, then you can jump in and say, Mr. Jones, remember that's where I read to you. You do not need more than one Medicare supplement policy. And as soon as you say that, 9 times out of 10, that will jog their information. And they'll say, oh, yeah, and they'll move right along. Part 5 or 6, I'm sorry, is guaranteed issue eligibility information. That is where these are all state specific, so make sure you're using the right state form. If you're doing an Online Express app, make sure you download the state that you're selling on, because there could be some different issues on what is a guarantee issue situation and what is not. Part 7 talks about the household premium discount. I blew that up so you could see that a little bit better. So basically, guys, gals, all we ask says you may be eligible for a policy with a lower household or premium rate based on your answers. We simply ask, do you have a household resident of at least 1 but no more than 3? They're going to check yes for that. With whom you've resided with or in a civil union partnership, and then you fill in their name, their relationship, and their street address and city and zip code. I had one just the other day that I ran through, and the relationship to the applicant was simply a friend, but they were, over 30. So I think there is some guidelines. You want to check your underwriting guide, but that's always important that they get that discount. Okay, premium payment, pretty simple. We have on the one area right there, we have where the initial premium goes. If you are picking up premium in today's world, very seldom do we pick up premium anymore unless they're paying by the year. At that point, you would fill in right here the initial premium and how many months they're paying for. If they're paying for 3, 6, or 12, you fill that in. Total premium submitted goes down here in this line. This is important right here on your requested effective date. And I want to address how that is going to affect premium collection and draft dates. So this is what, the 18th of May, 19th of May, I don't know what day it is. I can say 18th of May. So let's say I'm sitting down with a policyholder right now and I'm writing him a policy and he's going to pay monthly bank draft. So at that point, I've got to inform him of how that's going to work, because you don't want your policyholder to get hit with 2 bank drafts in one short period. So guys, gals, here's how this works. So on the requested effective date, I write 6/1/2016. And I now have to come down right below that and select my bank draft day. I can do anywhere from the 1st to the 28th. So let's say in this first example, the policyholder says, well, how about around the first part of the month? And I said, well, let's put the 5th down. No problem. Today's the 18th of May. They will draft for that premium. They'll ask your policyholder, Mr. Jones, we're going to draft you within the next couple of days for the first month's premium. Is that okay? They'll verify that it is. You and I should do that prior to the phone call. And when he says yes, then they will say, okay, your next premium draft date then will be on the 5th day of July. Okay, so everybody's got that. So now then let's go back to the original effective date, May the 18th, or not the effective date, the app date, May the 18th. And now you come to your requested effective date, June the 1st, and your bank draft day is any time after the 10th of the month. So now they say, well, how about drafting me on the 15th of the month? Now the conversation is going to go like this when the underwriter comes on the phone. And you should have already prepared your policyholder for this. Okay, Mr. Jones, we're going to draft within the next couple of days for June, and then we will draft again on the 15th of June for the July premium. Is that okay? So they're going to get hit with a draft now and another draft on the 15th of June. If that draft date that they want is after the 10th, you're going to get 2 back-to-back drafts in a short period of time. Policyholders are okay with that 9 times out of 10 as long as you and I do our job and explain that to them. It's when we don't explain that to them that the call comes back and says, hey, they've drafted me 2 times in the same month almost. What's going on? Again, any draft after the 10th will draft on the day that they ask for after the 10th. So if they ask for the 11th, they're going to get a draft now in the next couple of days and again on the June the 11th. So at that point, I will tell my policyholder, why don't you just move that back a day, and that way we don't draft again until July. If you guys have any questions with that, send it in, Todd. He can go over it with you while we're continuing here. But again, policyholders are usually okay with those things as long as they're aware of it. That's, again, the discount. Health questions, pretty simple. It's a yes-no application. Pretty simple right here. If you answer yes to any of the following questions, 1 through 16, coverage is not available. So if I come down to question number 16 and they say, yeah, I've got a implanted cardiac defibrillator. So that's a pacemaker with a little shock paddles on it. That's a pretty serious health condition. We're not going to issue that. So if that was answered yes, you know you're not going to get your policy issued. Medications, we asked 4 different things. The medication name, I always just have them get the pill bottles out, bring them to them, let me look at them, and the date they were originally prescribed. Most people, if they've been taking a medicine for 5, 6, 7 years, are not going to have a date that they originally prescribed with it. What we're looking for, guys, is control. If they told you that they were taking metformin and they've been taking metformin for 10 years, just write approximately 10 years there. That's good enough for the underwriter. But if they say metformin January the 1st of 2016, that's going to be a problem because we don't have enough time there to see whether that diabetes is being controlled. So give us as much information on the date originally prescribed. The dosage, is it 500 milligrams 2 times a day or 1,000 milligrams 2 times a day? And be sure and fill out what the medical condition is. If you're going to, what I always do is I usually have a couple of these things printed off so that I can leave it right there with the policyholder if I'm doing a face-to-face and I don't have time for the phone interview. Or if I am, I write it down, just let them look at it. So when the underwriter asks them, they've got it right there in front of them. So to be able to get through the interview legally and easily. This is just your signage page, your agent report, nothing to spend any time on. A standard replacement form, as you well know. We require a replacement form when you're doing a fully underwritten app. We do not require a replacement form on open enrollment or guarantee issue. So just when you're doing a fully underwritten app, you got to make sure this is filled out and accompanies the business. So let's talk about how we submit business. We've got a couple of different ways. Face-to-face, call center settings, and actually we have the Online Express app, so we can do either one of these with the Online Express app. The call center people, the people who are doing these types of businesses over the phone love the Online Express app, and I'll cover that here shortly. So first, let's talk about face-to-face, because there's still a lot of people that go out and see their policyholders on a regular basis, which is the way I was raised. I love doing that. But in today's world, sometimes we don't have time to keep doing that. So we can do face-to-face, telephonic, or paper, either one. So some of the benefits of the Telephonic Express app, as you can see, I'm putting some things on here, and I went one too far. Immediate results of the sale, a time saver for your client, possibly less travel for you, commissions get paid quick, and allows us to make less mistakes on the application. So let's back up and talk about a couple of these. When I tell you it's immediate results of the sale, what I mean by that is there is, after a short phone call, a policy number is issued and an approval date is given. I want to look at something here real quick. Yes, it's still there. I made a change here. I want to make sure I'm not getting ahead of myself. So what I'm getting at by the time saver for you and your client and less travel, how many times have you went out and took a paper application in this business, if you've been in it for a while, only to learn 2 or 3 weeks later that the policy holder got declined? So my point is this: if you're sitting there face-to-face with somebody and you find out that that policyholder is not going to qualify, isn't it a lot easier for you to reach in your kit and maybe look at somebody like a AARP that's got a little bit more flexible underwriting than an IAC, and switch gears and just go right to it, instead of having to say in 2 or 3 weeks get back on the phone and say, oh, by the way, Mr. Jones, I just heard from the company you got declined. Now I'm going to be back out there today at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Would either one of those 2 times work for you? Sometimes that works, and sometimes it goes like this. Well, Bill, I hadn't heard anything. I got a little nervous. I just went ahead and paid my other premium. I appreciate you trying to help me, but I'm just going to stay right where I'm at. That's what I'm getting at. We all get declines in this business. It's a lot better if we're still sitting there face-to-face with that policyholder, knowing, hey, this is not going to go right now. I need to switch gears while I'm here with my policyholder. I don't have to spend gas money driving back and forth to the appointment. Maybe it's a 35, 40-minute drive or even an hour. So it saves you time and effort. It also lets commissions get paid quicker if we know a policy gets issued. Once you hang that phone up, it goes to policy issue. Once the bank draft clears, you get paid, and agents like getting paid. Less mistakes on the application. It's pretty simple if you're doing a telephonic app and the underwriter's logging all the information on the application that she can't move from her screen until she can move to the next screen, unless all the required information is filled out. You'll see that here shortly. Okay, so make sure the sale's made before you call in on the telephonic call. Make sure your policyholder can hear. That's important. If you know that you're sitting there with a guy and they don't hear, or a gal and they don't hear that well, let the underwriter know that. Say, hey, Adrian, I got Joe Jones here on the phone, and he doesn't hear the best, so if you could slow down and speak a little louder, that would sure help him. And just let the underwriter know that up front. That'll help the policyholder and make it a little smoother. So prepare the client and prepare yourself. If you're doing these for the first time, it's a new process. So you want to make sure that you're, up to speed also. Make sure that when that phone call is made, that the client readily knows their Social Security number, that they know their Medicare number, the banking information. Anytime that we ask things that they're going to have to get up and get if they don't have it, like their checkbook or their doctor's address or what medications they're taking, if they're prepared, the thing will run a lot smoother. Everybody will be a lot happier. If you have to fax a replacement form, you don't need to write all this stuff down. Todd will send all this stuff out to you at the end of the webinar. The fax number is 385-207-7882. Here's one thing I will tell you, and we get calls from the underwriting department every now and then to reach out to the agent. Do not coach the client. You can help out with personal stuff like checking information if you've got a copy of their check with you, or if you have their existing insurance information, you can help with that. What you cannot help with, guys, is the personal protected HIPAA information. The health questions, the medications, has to be answered by the policyholder themselves. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the electronic app. This is something that we're getting a lot of good buzz and feedback on. The policy is completed online by the agent with the exception of the medical and banking information. At that point, guys, the underwriting department will call your client within minutes, no longer than 24 hours, to complete that application, and you will get the emails, or you'll get the results mailed to you. So let me give you a couple of examples of how this can be really, really beneficial to you and I in the sales field. Everybody gets really busy during AEP, if you all know what that means. From October to the end of December is a very busy time in our world. So let's say that you're already 30 minutes late for your next appointment, and you're just getting to this appointment. And you hit it off real good with a person, and the individual likes the product, they want to buy it, they want to enroll in our product, but you just don't have time to sit on a 20-minute phone call to do the telephonic app. You can take all that information back to the office with you that night, enter it online on your agent portal. You go to IACagent.com, get on your agent portal. You can go to, I'll show you all this here in a minute, and you can enter all this information online, hit the submit button, and that's when we are guaranteeing, if it's still in the middle of the day or if it's after hours, say it's 8, 9 o'clock at night when you start entering this on your agent portal, once you hit that submit button, you are assured of an underwriting decision within 24 hours. Guys, that's huge. That keeps us from losing business when we can get business approved quickly. So within 24 hours, they're going to get a call from the underwriting department. Now, I will tell you, make sure that you tell your policyholder if you're doing this to expect a phone call from an 888 area code, because a lot of these guys have caller ID, and if they don't recognize the phone number, they don't answer it. Well, we got to do the underwriting interview, so it's important that they answer an 888 call when we call out there to do it. So let them know that. Expect a call from an 888 area code. So that's one way you can do the electronic app. You can take it back, enter it on your portal, or let's say that you're sitting there and you've got a hotspot on your laptop and you've entered everything on your agent portal. You can simply wait just a couple of minutes, and at that point you can do a 3-way call to the underwriter. Now stop and think about how much shorter this will make the time on the phone call. If you just do the standard telephonic app and the underwriter has to go from that whole app that we just looked at, they got to go back and log every piece of that information. If you do it this way, you've already done 90% of the work for the underwriter. You've logged their name, address, phone number, their Medicare numbers, their Social Security numbers, their current insurance information. At this point, all the underwriter really has to do is just do some verification to make sure that they got the social rights, and there's like 2 or 3 calls or questions they ask, and then the underwriter can get right into the health questions, which you've already went through with the applicant. And it only takes a 20 to 25 minute phone call down to 5 to 10 minutes after completion of the online app. So at that point, all the underwriter has to do, guys, is ask the health questions, verify the medications, and get the checking information, and you are in and out of there in about 10 minutes. So, of course, it says here 9 to 12 minutes, depending on the speed and ease of the application or the applicant on the other end of the phone. Now, it says do a 3-way call approximately 5 to 10 minutes after completion of the online app. Have you ever been talking to somebody on the phone and you said, hey, I'm going to send you an email? Well, this is the same thing I'm talking about. It does usually not take 5 to 10 minutes, but we put that on there just for, for safety features so that we know that we're covered. You can usually call within a minute or 2 and get through to the underwriting department. So 9 to 12 minutes for the underwriter to do their underwriting and banking information, and that cuts that down from a 20 to 25 minute phone call. So it helps you out a lot. Policy number gets issued immediately on approval, and you can move on to your next opportunity. Now, let me just real quickly throw in something else here. What I always do at the end of a telephonic call or an online call, if I got the underwriter on the phone, I never make a phone call from my policyholder's phone line unless they have a speaker button on their phone. If they don't, I'm going to use my iPhone and hit the speaker button. Because once that policyholder or once that underwriter goes through the health questions, the medications, and verifies the banking information, they're going to say, okay, Ms. Jones, and once they read the fraud and disclosure warnings, I need to speak with your agent. I hit that speaker button because when that phone comes back to me, I want the underwriter to say, okay, Bill, your policy's approved. Give me just a second. I'll have your policy number. The policy number is 2896344, and it's going to be effective June the 1st. Why do I want my policyholder to hear that? Because I want them to know that they're approved, and then I'm going to take control of the phone call, and I'm going to say to the underwriter, so now, Jose, let me make sure I got this correct. My policy is going to be effective June the 1st, correct? No waiting period for pre-existing conditions, correct? The premium's $120.50 a month, and we have full coverage as of June the 1st. That's correct. So, Jose, since we don't have any waiting periods on our policy, don't you think it would be okay for us to get hold of their existing coverage and go ahead and cancel that effective June 1? Absolutely, he's covered. What am I doing there? I am eliminating buyer's remorse when I walk out that door, because now I'm going to have that policyholder, I'm going to have him pick up that phone and call, get his ID card, and we're going to dial that customer service number on the back of his current insurance. So let's say he's got XYZ company. We call them up. I identify myself, say my name's Bill Ellsworth. I'm an insurance agent in the state of Missouri. I have Joe Jones on the phone. His policy number is so-and-so. I'm going to hand the phone to him so you can verify who he is, and then he'll want me to talk to you. So they'll get him on the phone. They'll verify his name and that he is actually the policyholder, and they'll say, is it okay with us to speak to your agent? And they say yes. They hand it back to me. At that point, I say, listen, Mr. Jones's premium's getting too expensive. He's going to want to cancel that policy effective June the 1st, so do not draft his bank account in June. Do you need me to write a letter verifying that? Most companies in today's world will not make you write the letter, but I want to know, do they require that? If they do, I write the letter, fax it in that night. I'll get a fax number from them where I can fax it, and I'll take care of that. So when I walk out the door, the policyholder's heard everything with his own ears. He knows he's going to be covered by the new company. He knows he's saving money. He knows his other insurance is covered. Buyer's remorse virtually eliminated. So that's important to us. We don't like to sell something only to have the policyholder change their mind. So then the policy is issued, and a copy of the policy is in the application. When the policy comes to you or the client, whichever you want to send it to, you let us know. We'll do that, and that'll be right in the application. And by doing it this way, we get paid quickly. We like that. So real quick, guys, I'm going to run through what you're going to look at on your electronic app, and then I'm going to turn you loose here. We'll talk a little bit about the convention. And here's what you're going to do. This is a copy of the IAC agent portal. You're going to log over to the support tab. You're going to drop down once you click on support. This menu will drop down. You go to the bottom, click on Online Express app, and then you're going to click to the left side of that where it says Start the Application. And at that point, the states that you're currently marketing in or licensed to sell in will pop up on that menu. So if you're in Colorado, you'll drop down and click on Colorado. A Colorado form will load to your screen. And at that point, guys, gals, you're going to go right on down through this and log all the information. If you look over on the right-hand side, you'll see this little asterisk right here. That means anytime that little asterisk's there, it will tell you that that's a required field. Something has to be put in these fields or you can't submit the application. If you miss one, it'll come back and it'll be in red and tell you what one you missed, so you'll have to go back and fill that in. There's a place right here. Did you meet with the application in person? You come over, click on that little down arrow. There'll be a yes, no button, and then it'll say, did you interview the person over the phone? Yes or no. It's pretty simple. Even I can do it. All the things that are on that application will be on this electronic version. You'll come down to the applicant's social security number. It goes right there. Medicare claim number. It goes right here. Now, some people ask, how come there's 3 boxes right there? You got 1, 2, and 3. Well, this first box is if you're talking to somebody on maybe that has railroad Medicare. Sometimes the numbers or letters will be in front of the Medicare number. Usually, though, you're going to start right here in this center box, and that'll be their Social Security number 9 times out of 10. Sometimes it'll be their deceased spouse's number, and then your letter will go in a third box. So that's why you'll see 3 different boxes there. Go right on down through the application, fill in their height, their weight, their address. Keep right on moving to the Medicare information. Are you covered under Medicare Part A? Once you click on this little down box right here, if they are already covered on Part A, it'll be just like that application. What's the effective date? Take it right off their Medicare card. If they're not going to be on Medicare, it'll say June the 1st, then it'll be a little place down there. If no, when you click no, then that'll drop down. When is their effective date? Very, very easy to fill out. Keep moving right on down through it till you get to the certification pages to where you've recorded all the information, and do you agree with the certification? Of course, the correct answer is yes. And then you're going to get to the bottom for your signature, sign that, Marshall, Missouri, type your name in there, your phone number, and the email address. Now, your email address will load automatically. Now, right here where it says producer comments, if there's anything you need us to know, type it right there. So let's say that you've talked to your policyholder and they said, well, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Can you have them call me on Friday morning? Put that right there. Let us know that. We'll get that call out. Then you guys come down to the right here, the submit button. Click that. That goes straight to the underwriter. So again, you can do this at home, at your agent portal, back at your office. However you make it work for you, you can use this to your advantage. So with that said, let's move right on to the underwriting hours. As you can see, in every time zone, 12 hours except on Friday. We cut that back to 11 hours. So if you're in the Pacific area, we're open from 7 a.m. your time to 7 p.m. your time. We want to make sure that we don't just work 8 to 5 Central Time where we're located. You give you plenty of time to use this process. We want to help you get business issued. We think that's important. The easier we are to do business with, the more apt you guys are to do business with us. Guys, you're doing a great job. This is, again, a copy of the map, writing our product. We appreciate everything you're doing. We think when this block gets to the end of the year, we're going to be close to a $100 million block of business. So that tells you guys are doing a fantastic job. And with that said, that tells me I'm going to see a lot of you folks here. We are going to the Caribbean. We are going to have that qualification. It started March the 1st. It goes to 2/28 of 2017. And that also includes you and one guest. The qualification period, I believe, says here on the takes a 150,000 credit points. The qualification production does include you and your guests. We're kicking around the idea of allowing some people, if they want to, bring their children to do that, because this website or this place is set up very, very family oriented. If you have any feedback on that, whether you think we should take children or whether we should not allow them to come, let us know that. After this webinar, send that in to Todd. We're kicking that idea around. We've had several people say, can I bring my kids, because they went on the website and they've looked at this place. Guys, this is a beautiful, beautiful resort. We've already been down there and looked at it. It is all inclusive. That means you can drink all the orange juice you want any time of the day you want. You can eat anytime you want. They've got lots of restaurants. There's a golf course close. I think we're going to have a golf tournament. Not sure on that, but we kind of think we want to do that. But you can actually, if you see TV very much, they're advertising this resort in the Caribbean, Turks and Caicos, on TV right now. So they're talking about this place. And again, we went and looked at it. It is absolutely a beautiful place. And we do want to reward you for your hard work. And we want to see as many people there as possible. Any questions? Again, go ahead and get a hold of Todd. I will show you one other thing right now. You can see this right here. we still are paying a $50 bonus on every underwritten app that you send us from now until the end of the year also. So on top of your normal commission, we're going to send you another $50 just for writing our product if it's an underwritten app. So we hope to see as many people there as possible. Here is our contact sheet. Again, if you want that, you don't have to write all this stuff down. I'm kind of running short on time. We will get this out to everybody that attended the webinar. And my name again is Bill Ellsworth. You can reach me at bill.e@e-hfg.com. Todd Weiss is the guy that is answering your questions. You can get a hold of him at twyss@e-hfg.com. Cindy for licensing, and Amber will help you with your supplies. So with that said, Todd, if you need to address any questions, go ahead at this point. If not, we will let these fine folks get back to work.
I think I answered everything, Bill, but I will follow up with everybody and send them a copy of the slides after this webinar.
All right, folks, I appreciate you joining us. Let me go back a couple slides. I hope the next time I see you is right there. We do want to see as many of our producers that can possibly qualify for this. If you get in late, I think we have a formula where, you know, if you don't start selling until, if you just now got contracted, we have a formula where we can still get you there if you don't hit the 150. We control this. This is HFG that's paying for the trip, so we can be a little bit liberal in what we do. So we want to see, again, as many people at this convention as we possibly can, as long as it is in with reason. So guys, gals, take care, have a great day, and we will talk with you the next time. Thank you.